No, for me, there was just a stretch in the second half where I felt like we were a little bit uncomfortable. That other than that, I think we were pretty comfortable. Probably about maybe 5 to 10 minutes that I felt like they were on us, and we didn't have a great solution. We couldn't hold the ball, and just pressure kept mounting, which is at the moment that we switched into a back five, wanted to close up the gaps where they were running out. And once we did that, I felt like we were extremely comfortable from then to the end. Um, that was the stretch that bothered me most. Again, probably in the first half, there was times I felt like again it was a little bit too easy to get into our half, but I didn't feel like we were really exposed too much in terms of them creating chances. But I felt like we just weren't able to organize early enough and organize the marking the right way to stop them from sort of penetrating and getting into our half. So, but yeah, I think in all games you have those moments where the opposition gets the control of the game for a little bit, and you've got to be resilient in those moments. I thought the guys fought hard in that stretch and really protected the goal, and then we regained control again with just a little adjustment, and that's good. I thought there were some really good attacking moments through the game, better than I've seen us in stretches this year. We probably left 3 or 4 goals on the table, between the penalty kick and a couple balls. If we square them across a little bit cleaner and connect, we probably have a couple tap-ins. So in general, I thought the performance was for sure a step forward, and as long as we're doing that, we're moving in the right direction.
Yeah, speaking of moving in the right direction, people get really excited about fast starts that happened here a couple of years ago. But do you see things that tell you that this is sustainable, that you guys are gelling and getting better, that you're not like at the top of your game just yet? Thank you.
Yeah, we're for sure not at the top of our game, and I think we've had improvements. I see players get it settling in as they get used to being here. I thought Sam was excellent today through stretches, and that's showing that he's starting to settle in and connect with his team. I thought our players are getting a better understanding of what our principles are, especially on the attacking side. I still think we can continue to improve on both sides of the ball, but we're taking steps forward. I saw that during training this week, and I saw it in the game today. I was not surprised that we played pretty well today, especially the way we moved the ball. It's showing up in training. But the one thing this group is very aware of is that winning and getting streaks of winning in this league are very sensitive, and you've got to make sure you reboot and prepare to compete and battle and sacrifice again next week, because it's going to be another challenge. That's what it's like to be in the MLS. And so in order for us to keep going and keep giving ourselves the opportunity to prove each week, we got to be willing to sacrifice on those difficult moments, and the guys have done that in spades to start the season.
Thanks, Kevin. We'll go to Damien next. Damien, go ahead.
Hey, Greg, how you doing?
Well, Damien, thank you.
I know Thursday, Derek Williams talked about, he wanted the defense to start collecting shutouts. But then you get one today. What did you see out of the group collectively that sort of led to the performance today on the back line?
I think this, in general, just to talk about the back four, because I think last week and this week they did an outstanding job of protecting their goal. Again, we haven't done as well as we'd like to yet in stopping the opposition from getting into our half of the field the way we will as we continue to progress. And when you don't, then your back line is put under some pressure to make some plays, to have to protect the goal, protect the box, and I think they've done outstanding. A lot of that is them getting used to each other. Derek's relatively new. He didn't have much of a preseason. He had to settle in a little bit, get his fitness. Julian, same thing. He was gone for a big chunk of preseason, so we needed him to settle in. I think his defending has been a lot better the last couple games. So I think, again, the group is settling in. I think the guys in front of them are helping to make things more predictable for the back line, and we're staying a little bit more connected. But having said that, I have to give them a lot of credit just for the way that they've protected the goal, and I think Bondi's been outstanding when he's needed to, in the opening stretch to help us in those moments where they do get opportunities. So that's how you get shutouts. Everybody has to contribute, and I think everybody did today. And again, we protected our goal in that period where I felt like we were under it just a little bit.
What do you think the biggest difference is for Julian this last couple of weeks?
I think it's just, we really emphasized with him over the last 2 weeks just the defending side, and not to be so aggressive to want to get out and attack, and to be a little more patient on the defending side so that he's reading things a little bit clearer. Really emphasized his defending, and we haven't talked much with him over the last couple of weeks about how he can impact games on the attacking side. I think he already has a feel for that, and he loves to get out to attack. So we've really just emphasized with the coaching staff sitting down with him and just tightening up his defensive decisions. He has the aggression and he has the speed and all the things that he can use to his advantage from a defending perspective. It was just about cleaning up some of the decisions I thought that maybe he was making early on and settling in a little bit, not pressing too much. And I feel like he was much more patient and made correct decisions. When he does that, he has all the tools to be very successful. And he's been that, I thought, for the last game and a half. I thought he's been very, very good on the defensive side.
Thanks, Damien. We'll go to Nikki K next. Nikki, go ahead.
Thanks, Coach. Congratulations on the win. You talked about Sam's performance and the relationships developing on this team. I just wanted to know what you saw in terms of his chemistry with Julian and Sebastian in what he performed today.
Yeah, again, I think relationships are a lot of different things. I think on the field, just their movement was more in sync with each other. So if one of them created space, the other was using the space. I think we saw from last week to this week his commitment to sprint and to run behind the back line and to threaten the depth has progressively gotten better with each game. And I just felt like the timing today and the work between the three of them was more in sync than it has been through the course of the first few games. I think the next part of the relationship is just them getting to understand where each of them wants the ball, how they want the ball, so that they can combine a little bit cleaner. I thought they had some moments where, again, they were able to play in tight spaces and play themselves out of it. That a week ago or 2 weeks ago, we wouldn't have gotten that. They would have been out of sync. I think they've gotten into a little bit more sync together in that way. So, again, it's still a work in progress, but we see the progress taking place in front of our eyes, and we're still not where we want to be ultimately. But I think those guys, as well as the rest of the group, are just getting a little bit more in sync with some of those different scenarios that present themselves. I thought he did a great job of coming inside and running outside and getting in behind, and that's one of the things we've been asking a little bit more out of some of these guys, and Sam put that in today. And Seba did it too. That's how he ended up with the run in behind the back line and the goal.
Thanks, Nikki. We'll go to Josh next. Josh, guys.
Hey, Greg. I wanted to follow up on talking about Sebastian Lejeune a little bit. He had looked like a pretty good first half, and obviously was pretty dangerous on the offensive side. What have you seen from him in the first 5 games? Obviously, he missed a couple games, but what have you seen from him that's really sort of adding to maybe the depth on offense?
Sorry, who was it?
Legit.
Oh, Seba, yeah. Again, I think he wasn't with us for much of preseason because he was with the national team. Then he comes and he plays 1 game, and then he's out again, and then he's back in again. And so, again, I think it's just getting more clarity in terms of what we're trying to do as a group, because he hasn't been in the group that much. And then it's establishing also just the relationships with the players around him. One of the things I think that we've been focusing on with him is just staying a little bit higher. There's times when we play in that shape where Javier ends up on an island and our midfield is too deep trying to get on the ball. And today they stayed a little bit higher, and as we saw, he ran off the shoulder of Javier, which is something we haven't seen the entire season. We get a chance off of it. And it's making sure that he and Jonah and Efra and those guys that are playing in those positions stay up higher on the field so that they can work with Javier and he doesn't end up alone. And that was the difference why we didn't need 2 forwards today, where we did in the past, is those guys stayed higher and we benefited from that. And Seba, that was a big reason why I thought Seba had a lot of success through the course of the game, and then he's progressively getting used to the group again, and so in match play, for example. So I thought he was excellent. I thought a lot of guys did a nice job today in what we're trying to do.
Thanks, Josh. We'll go to Gio Garcia next.
Hey, Greg.
Yep.
Just want to get your thoughts on Kevin Cabral. Obviously, he came in and obviously he scored a goal, which was called outside. So what were your thoughts in the couple minutes that you got to play today?
Yeah, I was glad that we got him in a time we're up, where I think for a young man with a lot of talent, there's an emotion there. There's a lot of pressure for a young guy who coming in as a DP. So I think for him to be able to feel it today and just to get out there, I think still getting used to the group and getting his legs under him. He was off. Unfortunately, the visa process took so long. So the fitness he gained from the season, he loses a little bit of it coming in. So I think it's getting used to it and feeling the game out. Having said that, I think again you see a little bit of his timing on his runs to try to get in behind. He had some inside out runs. He had some runs like Javier found him on the goal where he was a quarter of a body offside or something. So it's close. So again, I think there's some good moments in there for him. I think he was breathing heavy a little bit through parts of it where he needs to get fit, and some of that I think is just the emotion of getting your first game in a new club like this. But I was happy with, again, his ability to help us in some of these moments to bring the game forward, to stretch the game out, to run in behind, and he'll keep progressing as we go. I didn't have any real expectation in the first game. The first game is always one of those where you're just trying to get your feet wet and figure out where you are in the moment. It feels like you're in a twilight zone a little bit. So I was just happy he was able to get out there and we won the game. And now he can start to relax and the first one's behind him and move forward.
How good did it feel to finally get a clean sheet?
Yeah, really good. That's, again, looking back at the club a bit for the last year and change, it's something that we've been working hard on and talking about, and for the guys and all the work that they've put into it to get it feels good. I think we've progressively gotten better in these games defensively, at least, again, protecting our goal. And now can we extend that a little bit higher up the field and recover balls a little bit higher? But I know for the work that the group has been putting in, it's nice to get that. And if we can get some consistent shutouts, I think we've got ways to score goals. We've seen that through these games. And so that's going to help us a lot once we can solidify that and be consistent on that end.
We'll do one final question. We'll go to Sophie Nicolau last. Sophie, go ahead.
Hey, Coach.
Sophie.
Sometimes it's difficult to talk about yourself, but it is clear there is a culture and new DNA evolving at LA Galaxy that is it evokes a five-star MLS team. Ordinarily, games like this in the past, maybe in the last 18 months, the team would have conceded goals, maybe lost the game. I don't know if you feel it, but LA Galaxy fans, we talk to them on social media, we see them coming in and out of the stadium. There is a vibe, there is an excitement about this squad, and you are clearly making a massive difference. Can you just talk us through that a little bit? Because as well as the players are doing, what you're bringing to the table in such a short space of time is so evident and smacks a little bit of the old LA Galaxy culture that everyone has known to come and love.
Yeah, I mean, it's, again, I think in terms of the culture and what we're trying to do is connect everything that's happening here so that we're efficient and we do things well, bring respect to everything that we're trying to do. And we believe that, between the club and the staff and the fans and the front office staff, that we are one big family that has each other to support each other to go try to win games. And treating everybody with respect and trying to listen and talk and let people have opinions and communicate and all those kinds of things so they feel heard. To me, that's how you get people to buy in those days and those moments where you have to grind. That's where they put in the extra because they appreciate what you've brought to them and what the environment you've created for them. And that's when guys feel like they can be successful. And I think that's just, it's kind of resonating and emanating through the team, and people probably feel that on the outside because a lot of the things that everybody is talking about from the inside, it's consistent and it's going from inside out. And now, our fans are for sure, you can feel them in the stands behind us and you can feel the excitement building. Results obviously help that, but I think a lot of our wins early on have really been built on the back of some of the culture and just some of that hard work that the guys have been committed to. I think bringing clarity to the team in terms of what each guy's role is and how they can help this team be successful helps them to also be successful, and they appreciate that as well. So, look, these are just their early stages, they're building blocks. We've got to keep adding to it. But I think, for me, that's when I arrived at the Galaxy in 1996 and we were starting it. That's what the club was started on. It was an incredible group of guys that Coach Lothar Osiander put together, good human beings who all worked hard for each other. And I feel like it was the foundation of what was being built with the LA Galaxy. And at that time, it was in the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, and we felt our fans every single time, And so that's what I believe that this is about. Obviously, there's the big club mentality and that the Galaxy really puts out, but I think it starts with those of us on the inside and our fans feeling like we're all in this together and being able to support each other and push through it. And so I don't know. It's just at this point, it's just kind of doing what we do and trying to bring people on board and trying to get results each week. Because as you get results, it just adds to the momentum of what you're trying to do from that side of things.